This book has been recorded by Kanupriya Gupta in the recording studio of Arushi Institute. The address of Arushi Institute is 1 Shivaji Nagar near MPEB office, Bhopal. Contact number 0755 429 3399 and 0755 255 0827. Email ID arushi.org@gmail.com. Helpline number 1800 233 4397.
The Peace Gong, Connecting Children for a Non-Violent Planet. Volume 9, December 2014, pages 12. This is published as a part of a media and information literacy initiative of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore Foundation, BIRDS, and South Asia Initiative to End Violence Against Children, SAIVAC. Page 1. First, we can find a poster developed by Arushi. The poster says words quoted by Gulzar Sahab. मेरे पीछे पीछे आओ लोगों, मैंने छड़ी में आंखें रखी हैं. Come follow me, my walking stick will lead the way. Next to it, we can see the lines quoted by a girl named Kavya with special abilities in class 11th, Tagore International School, Delhi. Aliens नहीं हैं हम, हमें घूरो मत. सोच गलत नहीं है, ऐसा सोचो मत. कुछ कर नहीं सकते तो हिम्मत तोड़ो मत. We are not aliens. Don't stare at us. Our thinking is not wrong. If you can't do anything for us, at least don't break our spirit. Sharing the world with your voice. Many young people nowadays spend their precious time chatting, posting trivia on the Facebook, and using WhatsApp feverishly. We may end up making more than a dozen posts in the entire day without gaining anything substantially or contributing to any genuine cause. Studies show that an average person speaks around 13,000 words a day. But have you ever thought how we can use the spoken word to help our friends with disability? Teachers make us read chapters in the classroom, and we have the same choice to read it at home when we want to. But for some, this is not an option. So, how do we young people help these children revise their lessons or enjoy reading storybooks and novels for entertainment? Instead of spending time on trivia, we can contribute some time of ours every week in recording books, novels, magazines, and many other educational resources. If we can enjoy reading, we can also make others enjoy by feeding our voices in computers. As a young person, I always enjoy recording. I have been recording books and other material for the past several years at Arushi, a voluntary organization in Bhopal. It gives me immense satisfaction as I am contributing to a cause. All children who are visually impaired have a right to education and entertainment. Denying this right is a violation of their dignity. We can't let them remain excluded as all of them are our friends. So, I request all my friends through this platform of the Peace Gong to think and act. You too can make a difference and contribute to the cause of our friends who may be differently abled. Find some school in your community which may be having special children, or there may be such children in your own school. Make them realize they have equal rights like you and make it a point to hold their hands and work together for the cause of all children. Kanupriya Gupta, Class 10, Carmel Convent School, BHL, Bhopal. Ground Realities. A reality check conducted by children of Abhas in Tughlakabad area of Delhi reveals the severity of different types of social disabilities faced by the children there. These children constitute the most socially disabled and deprived sections of the community. They suffer from safety hazards, substance abuse, sexual abuse, violence and lack of parental care, complete lack of education and basic services. Consequently, enrollment and retention in school also suffer. As part of the reality check, the children covered 4 main areas of social disabilities: early marriage, child sexual abuse, child labor, and disabilities which pose a serious risk of violence in respect of children. The children during this process discuss on how to tackle these disabilities. They observe that the word disability doesn't stand for weakness. They also learned about the sufferings of children with disabilities and the problems they face as part of their routine life. The children felt that all of them need to come together and do whatever they could to help their peers with disabilities. "We are all one" was their pledge at the end of the reality check. About 89 families were surveyed as part of the reality check. Out of the total of 224 children who were surveyed, 108 did not have their birth registration. It also found that 28 children had never been to school and 36 had dropped out. The team found 8 cases of child marriage and 3 cases of child sexual abuse. It also found 3 reported cases of child labor, though almost 100 children were known to be working. मत देखो हमारी कमजोरियों को, क्योंकि विकलांग तो मानव का मस्तिष्क भी हो गया है. Don't look for our weaknesses because the human mind has become crippled. Pratima, Nazmi, Yogesh, Komal, all of class 12, Sarvodaya Kanya Vidyalay, Tuglikabad Village, New Delhi. Page 2. Keep rejuvenating the world. Gulzar. Regular sensitization programs for children in school and community settings are very necessary to end age-old stereotypes and attitudes towards people with disabilities. Eminent lyricist cum film director Gulzar, who has developed a large number of talking books for children with visual impairment, stresses on how regular interaction between children with disability and other children breaks the barriers of understanding with each other. Here is the interview conducted by the Peace Gong team: Kanchan, Malvika, Sana, Bhopal, Soma, Afreen and Arisha, class 11th AMU, Aligarh, Manoj, class 10th, Imphal, Manipur. How to make children aware about disability. You are one of those helping us to do this. People like you who are conscious and people like you who are active in this field, the feeling that comes in you and you are activated. That is how it spreads. That is how we make people aware. We have to move out. The children have to move out. And the society has to accept this. One of the best ways to create awareness on disability is by including one page of information in every school textbook. The governments of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh have already done this, and it should be implemented at the national level. Students should be properly advised right from a young age on how they should work and deal with a differently abled person. Question. People often say ignorance of ability brings disability. What would you like to say on this? Answer. Yes, I do agree with that. People often ignore these children. People are mean. They look for their own happiness. They never think of others. People should care about them. They need love, affection and opportunity, not your pity. We are one family and should treat them as a part of the family. We Indians believe that the world is one big family. So, please give one message to today's youth who will take over for the world of tomorrow. It's our responsibility to make a better world and work for the rejuvenation of the world we see. I request and I initiate that I expect the rejuvenation. Keep on growing, keep on polishing, make the quality of life better. हमेशा जिंदगी संवारते चलो. Question: what is your view on inclusive education? Answer: while we should try to promote the concept of inclusive education wherever possible, we should also try to facilitate regular joint activities and events between children with disabilities and others. Promoting participation of children with disabilities in all spheres of life will help nurture their talents and also contribute in changing the mindsets of others. We have to understand that each one of us has some disability or the other. The disability might not be a physical aspect, as somewhere or the other we all have some problem or the other. Moral, psychological and social disabilities have a more adverse effect on society than any other disability can have. So, we have to help young people develop understanding of different dimensions of disabilities. Question: your talking books with its short stories and songs play an important role in taking up the causes of children with disabilities. What help do you get to develop the talking books? Answer: there is not much material and resources available for children with disability. It is the duty of the society to ensure they get equal opportunities in education. This is the reason organizations like Arushi have been working on inclusive education and developing talking books. The need of the hour is to promote all these initiatives in a big way and reach out to children who simply don't get any opportunity. The Peace Gong team is honored to receive an inspiring message from an eminent lyricist like you. And this is how Gulzar sir replies: I hope the Peace Gong becomes a truly inclusive and global platform for the children to work for peace and justice. Page 3. Good health can be key to overcome disability. For children of Moldanga Shishu Panchayat and their peers, good health facilities in childhood was crucial in avoiding many types of disability. Exploring the areas which helped overcome disabilities, the children and their senior mentors felt immunization and proper nutrition were significant. In an interaction organized by students of Center for Journalism and Mass Communication, Vishwa Bharati University, West Bengal and the Mol Danga Shishu Panchayat, a children's group on November 9 in Moldanga, a village by the site of Sri Niketan campus of the university, the participants felt malnutrition was a major cause of disability. A village panchayat member, Miss Mala Khatun, talking about the health camps in the village, explained to the students how many children with disability also faced prospects of malnutrition. For instance, children with cerebral palsy, she said, could have difficulties in chewing. She also said severe diarrhea in childhood could be one reason for disability. For this, a good environment and safe food are necessary, she added. Reshma Khatun, a student of class 10th, said after visiting different areas, members of the Moldanga Shishu Panchayat felt good drinking water, proper sanitation facilities and maintaining good hygiene were also important in preventing different types of disability. Also, according to Tuhina Khatun, another member of the Shishu Panchayat, their team felt that most of the schools did not have proper toilet facilities for children with disabilities. In most of our areas, the general school students do not have toilet facilities. For children with disability, it must be very difficult as a physically challenged child will definitely have problems going outside the school and in the open for toilet, she felt. Along with the interaction, different programs were organized for the children like painting, drawing, essay writing, dance and games. Another issue which was discussed in this interaction was on the concerns of child marriage in the area. At the side you can see a picture of Moldanga Shishu Panchayat Shanti Niketan discussing rights of children with disabilities and child marriage. By Maya Khatun, class 10th, Miraj Mir, class 12th, Saruk Mia, class 11th, Shamim Mian, class 12th, Shantiniketan, West Bengal. Sharing my experience. My name is Chandravati Kumari. I study in class 8th. I am not blind by birth. My life was full of brightness. But today came when all these things were snatched by the cruel hands of fate. I was doing my homework when a group of fellow students started teasing me. They took away my books. I reported against them to my class teacher who scolded them. Next day, these students, against whom I had complained, asked me to play with them during lunchtime. I did not understand what they actually wanted to do. While playing, they covered my eyes with a cloth and asked me to catch them. One of the girls pushed me. I fell on some brick and became unconscious. I was later taken to a hospital where the doctor told me that the fall had permanently damaged my eyesight and that I would never be able to see again in future. Later, I joined Antarjyoti, a school for children like me. Now I am confident and think that even though I cannot see, I am second to none. I know I have the right and all the opportunities to work with all. While studying, I have got associated with Kilkari, where I am learning creative arts. Now I am confident that I will be able to stand on my own feet and earn a name for myself. Translated from Hindi. Chandravati Kumari, class 8th, Antarjyoti School, Patna, Bihar. Page 4. Interview. The missing rope in our education system. Inclusive education in India continues to be a major challenge. Without proper education facilities, a number of children with disabilities are found missing from any kind of educational facilities, whether formal or informal, says Dr. Rohit Trivedi, Assistant Professor in Sarojini Naidu Government Girls PG College, Bhopal, in an in-depth interview with Peace Gong reporter Kanupriya Gupta of class 10th, Kamal Convent School, BHL, Bhopal. Dr. Trivedi is visually impaired and has been persistently working in the domain of disability. Question: what is the importance of inclusive education? Answer: a World Bank study of 2007 says children with disability in India are 5 times more likely to be out of school than children belonging to scheduled castes or scheduled tribes. A large number of these children are missing from any form of education system, formal or informal. Hence, inclusive education is important for children with disabilities. This gives them access to education. A disabled child has to live in society with all her apprehensions, doubts, and hesitations. And accepting this society becomes all the more difficult when she is made to study in a special school where only disabled children study. But when disabled child studies in a public or a private school, not in a distinctive school, she interacts with several types of people and with different sorts of environment. This helps her feel that she is a part of this society. She gets to know how to interact with people. A normal child also starts understanding the problems of such children. Their coordination improves. This works wonders when both of them step out of school. This unifies two entirely different worlds. Question: do we have inclusive education in India? Answer: the government's Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, Education for All campaign talks of facilitating inclusive education, saying it will ensure that every child with special needs, irrespective of the type, category, and degree of disability, is provided education in an appropriate environment. It promises a zero rejection policy so that no child is left out of the education system. Question: is it sufficient for a differently abled child to go to a public or private school? Special facilities are very often not available in these schools. Answer: normally we can see even a normal child sometimes needs extra attention, so they go to tuition and coaching classes. Similarly, the children with disabilities do need additional attention from special educators as well as governmental and non-governmental organizations. Question: how do the parents of other children react to this idea of inclusion? Answer: in fact, objections arise only in situations where inclusion of other children is denied. The syllabus and environment selected for a particular class should be such that can be accepted by both. For instance, if a teacher is writing as well as speaking the thing written on the board, then it would definitely be an asset for a visually impaired child and not hinder the other children too. If a teacher gives a little extra time to these children, again it is not harmful to others. But it can be a problem if the number of such children increases in a particular class. And yes, sometimes the school also uses the excuse that parents may mind if they give admission to the differently abled. Question: are schools supportive? Answer: nowadays, the government-run schools have to admit these children with disabilities. There are laws for the education of the disabled, but private schools have many excuses to deny admission. Like they often say, no more seats left, or their teachers are not trained to handle such children. Even when the students are enrolled, they are not given the right education and are promoted just for the sake of promotion. Their special needs are not taken care of. Very few schools give the appropriate education and environment to these children. Question: how do teachers feel about inclusive education? Answer: there are both positive and negative responses. They are apprehensive in the beginning. Some are even not aware but gradually they become supportive. They talk to the special educators and organizations. These organizations give them guidance on how to interact with such children in the classroom. For example, they tell the teachers that for a child with low vision, they should make them sit on the front bench, narrate while writing, and write in bigger letters. For teaching a deaf and a dumb child, they must learn the sign language. Question: how can we as students encourage inclusion? Answer: when you sit in your class with such a child, don't ignore him or her. Normally, there are some children in your class you don't like. Maybe they have a bad attitude or they are short-tempered. But once you get to know that person, they may become your best friend because of having the same type of thoughts and views. Same is the case with differently abled. You must talk to them, understand them, help them, and empower them. This helps them to become independent citizens. Another way is to create awareness in the society. Start from your own house. Tell your parents and relatives. It's true that journey starts from small steps. Take that small step. Question: are there any legal provisions in India to educate the disabled children? Answer: there is a law, Persons with Disabilities, Equal Opportunities, Protection of Rights and Full Participation Act 1995 that ensures every child with a disability gets access to free education and an appropriate environment till he or she reaches the age of 18 years. They cannot be denied admission from any school. Then there is another law, the right to education for persons with disability till 18 years of age. In context of education, these are the main laws, but in context of disability, there are more. Page 5. Consultations, Imphal, Manipur. Social equality and justice mean providing equal opportunities. Segregating children with disabilities from their families or communities is wrong, and separating such children was a violation of their right. This was the general consensus of a consultation organized by the Peace Gong in association with the Welfare Association for Blind, Takil, Imphal, on the topic Stepping Up Protection of Children with Disabilities. Some 40 children and youth with visual impairment along with their teachers and 30 other children took part in the consultation. Introducing the theme of the program along with the key points to be discussed in the South Asia Initiative to End Violence Against Children (SIVAC) conference in Sri Lanka, Dr. Oenam Sarita Devi, Secretary Kasturba Gandhi Institute for Development KGID Manipur, said that in most communities, children with disability constituted an invisible population. Social equality and justice means providing equal opportunities to children with disabilities, she added. Urmila, a visually impaired girl, raised a very important issue when she talked about the problems of Eve teasing. She said people generally took such girls for granted and they found it difficult to lodge complaints against the culprits. She felt girls with visual impairment were among the most vulnerable sections of the society and mass awareness program was essential in all schools and educational institutions. The young participants came up with several recommendations after a detailed discussions. The visually impaired students should be part of inclusive education system in general schools instead of concentration on building separate schools. This would reduce prevailing discrimination between general students and the differently abled. The Right to Education Act is also for the differently abled children, so they should not be deprived of these rights. For the visually challenged, their sense of hearing is the main help to explore the world. But increasing noise pollution with rising number of vehicles and crowds are hampering their ability. So, there is a vital need to generate mass awareness to reduce all kinds of pollution. The white cane, the demonstrative symbol of persons with visual impairment, is a vital equipment that helps them to walk out of their homes, and they have a right to use it. But very often the families of such people are financially unsound, thus depriving the visually challenged children and youth of proper education. So, the government needs to focus on their necessities, like providing readers and writers, along with proper educational aids. 3% of the total number of vacancies are reserved for the differently abled in every educational institute and job sector. But unfortunately, very few students or persons of this category apply, proving there is a lack of awareness amongst them. To encourage the differently abled persons to visit tourist spots and historical places, the government should exempt them and their guide for paying any entrance fees. Promises of giving support and providing rights and facilities to children with disability should be converted into action by the government, meaning the senior officers and leaders. Speaking at the consultation, Christina Khundrakpam of class 11 said the aim should be to develop creative platforms like the Peace Gong, where both differently abled and other children can come together to work for the society. We children should be consciously involving all our differently abled friends in all our initiative, said the associate editor of the Peace Gong. Naocha said students like him generally faced problems in identifying suitable readers and writers, especially during exams. But this problem should be solved if the government distributed electronic gadgets like laptops with voice interactivity to the visually challenged children, he pointed. Happy Son, a low vision student, wanted the government to enhance opportunities for students like him. However, Ranbir Singh, another student with visual impairment, said people like him did not need sympathy but empathy. We have all the rights as citizens of the country, he said, pointing out the quotas for students like him in jobs, education and accessible hostel facilities at the college and university level. Lamenting the lack of availability of books and magazines and braille in Manipur, despite the government's promise, Premjit, secretary to the Welfare Association of Blind, invited participants and the Peace Gong team members to spare some time every week to volunteer for the visually impaired, hoping the children involved with the Peace Gong team would play an important role in helping their differently abled friends by reading books and becoming writers during exams, he added. We want a society where all children, whether differently abled or others, are able to study and grow together. Expressing an interest to be a part of the Peace Gong, the students of the School of Visual Impairment wanted to take part in reporting and interviewing too. Dr. Sarita Devi promised a proper orientation program would be organized to involve the students with visual impairment with the Peace Gong team. The Peace Gong Bureau, Imphal, Manipur. Page 6. Stepping up protection of children with disabilities. Children with disabilities are likely to more vulnerable to different forms of violence than any other children. And compared to others, differently abled children face many types of social, environmental, psychological and physical discrimination and barriers. Consultations with students and youth with disabilities and other children held in Bhopal, Aligarh, Guwahati and Kolkata. Society needs to be more sensitive. Students taking part in the Bhopal round of consultations held on November 20 and organized by the voluntary organization Arushi and the Peace Gong Bhopal team stressed that the government must strictly enforce the law against those using disabled children as beggars and take action against those who badly treat them. The participants wanted the entire society to collectively work toward ensuring this. Another vital point made was that children with disabilities of any category should be given vocational training so that they have a livelihood and the confidence and ability to go about in society with dignity. The participants stressed on the need to lobby at different forums to ensure availability of appropriate assistive devices for children with different disabilities as per their respective age groups. The consultation focused on children with visual impairment, that is, the blind, and persons with low vision who need to be provided textbooks and enriching learning material in appropriate accessible format like braille, audio and books with bigger printed letters. Children with low vision should also be trained on how to use their residual vision. The children, mostly from Anand Vihar Higher Secondary School, Bhopal, also came up with the following suggestions to protect the rights of children with disabilities. We shall work towards ensuring right to education for children with disabilities. We shall create awareness in society regarding hidden potentials of children with disabilities and ensure their different special needs are fulfilled. And we shall befriend children with disabilities and facilitate their inclusion. Group discussions and different stimulating activities were organized during the day-long session, which helped the children realize that they have to understand that children with disabilities also have the right to get proper education, to play and to have fun. Another important point made was that people should not discriminate with the children with disabilities and we must to treat them with the same sort of dignity like we would with anyone else. Amongst the many demands voiced by participants, the notable ones were about the government making available talking books to help the visually impaired in their studies, and for all categories of disabled students, the government should train teachers who use appropriate tools and methods to teach in better and more interesting ways. Many participants observed that the government should be more concerned about the disabled, making policies that provide more jobs and ensure fair treatment to the disabled children in school, hospitals and all public places. Most of the participants agreed that our society is insensitive to the feelings of the disabled children, due to which they often lose their confidence. Many felt that people do not treat a disabled child as they treat a normal. The consensus of the consultation was that everyone has the right to good education and that it is our responsibility to encourage all disabled children to go to school. The Peace Gong Bureau, Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. Confident, tech-savvy and smart. As part of the Peace Gong consultation, we went to the Aligarh Muslim University's Ahmadi School for the Blind for an interaction session on the topic Stepping Up Protection of Children with Disabilities. After a warm welcome, the first thing that grabbed our attention was the discipline the students with visual impairment maintained. Generally, such discipline we see in very strict schools. But to them, it came naturally. The topic of discussion got a very good response from the students. Many of them, after listening us, showed interest about working with the Peace Gong. A girl of class 7th asked us what all could she write about. When asked what she wants to write about, the girl's answer was, I want to write my autobiography. Inviting the girl student to become a member of the Peace Gong team, our coordinator Mumtaz Ahmed Numani said to the girl, we appreciate your vision. Do something great that makes all of us feel proud of you. At present, we are going to record your voice and wish you all the very best. The discussions were primarily based on the techniques and mechanisms these students used for study processes. They have a different type of board for doing maths, and to write they use an instrument that has a pin and a sheet and a board on which the sheet is fixed. The white cane is used as a walking stick that vibrates when it strikes an uneven object or detects an uneven object near them. Nowadays, the students have been provided with an electronic device which records their class lectures and plays them back again later, when they can prepare detailed notes. The students candidly reveal some problems they face because of being visually challenged. One problem is understanding the geometrical proportions, which is related to visualizing the question. Otherwise, we love to do maths too, they said. The school has been successfully training the students in all aspects of the curriculum. The students are aware about the new instruments now available to write or type in Braille and showed a keen desire to use them one day for higher education. Our visit made us realize that this school is amazing in its own way, not only guiding the visually challenged students in study matters, but also providing love and affection to each, like a family. All children came forward to speak confidently. Their teachers have trained them well, so that they can walk with us side by side. At the end of the consultation, we had learned a lesson that seldom do we think how smart they really are, and it is high time the world comes to know this. The Peace Gong Bureau, Aligarh, Uttar Pradesh. Page 7. Girls with disabilities most vulnerable. Girls with disabilities face far greater exclusion from different opportunities in life than boys. The more the severity of the disability, the greater is the problem of the girl child. That was the consensus of the Guwahati Assam round of consultation organized by Surovi Shishu Panchayat in collaboration with the Peace Gong at Hatishila Ganesh Mandir, Guwahati on 14th November 2014. The 30 young participants who took part in the consultation held to mark the Children's Day, celebrated all over India, agreed that the differently abled girls were the most vulnerable. They felt that girls whose safety and security are a matter of concern are in a worse position if they have any type of disability. The discussions brought out the fact that the barriers are enormous for differently abled girls. According to Marjana Begum, a college student from Amgaon, Guwahati, there was less possibility of girls with disability getting education than boys with disability. We know of families who think their girls are a curse. They don't have any rights in their families, she said. Sushila Das, a 15-year-old girl from Ekra Barhi, Panil Kheti, said she knew a few girls in her area who were forced to stay in one corner of their own homes, while the families pay no attention to their pitiable condition. Dilip Subedi, a volunteer of Surovi, said this was due to poor awareness amongst parents and the community. Girls who are disabled are likely to face greater challenges in getting livelihood opportunities than boys, added Tahura Khatun, a facilitator and mentor of Surovi. The participants expressed concern about the need to help differently abled girls to raise their voices amongst different forms of discrimination. Summing up the consultation, Rehan Ali, the coordinator of Surovi Shishu Panchayat, said there should be specific programs to realize the rights of girls with disabilities. To end the victimization of girls with disabilities, the following recommendations were made by the participants of the consultation. Awareness of generation amongst parents on issues and concerns of these girls with disabilities, support and protection from the neighborhood and community, encouragement and opportunities from all concerned, equal rights, facilities and humanitarian assistance from the adults, getting a cooperative atmosphere all the time, and special schemes and policies. The Peace Gong Bureau, Guwahati, Assam. Build more awareness initiatives on disabilities. Simple joys of life are not for these children. Every day they face innumerable challenges and discriminations, from going to school to just getting an opportunity to play. Another major concern is lack of appropriate chairs and desks in schools. Like leprosy, malaria and polio awareness programs, more initiative should be taken to spread awareness on disabilities. Felt that 21 children with disabilities from 7 organizations who took part in consultation organized by Sanchar Arod of Kolkata. Participants with hearing impairment said no one understood them when they visit hospitals and other public places. So there should be sign language interpreters in such public places. One such participant narrated his ordeal of not being able to follow what was being taught in his village school, as it had no appropriate learning material for children with hearing impairment. A student with cerebral palsy studying in class 12 said that finding a writer during exams was a major difficulty. Should this be the responsibility of the school? Asked the student. The participants also underlined on the need for awareness building and counseling facilities for parents and family members of children with disabilities. A major problem, according to the participants, was the issue of accessibility in public places and educational institutions. The participants also discussed the issue of sexual violence on children with disabilities. They underlined the importance of child protection policies. Page 8. Editorial. Let us not diss the ability. When sunlight falls on budding flower, it does so without any bias. Some flowers are left in the shadows only because of objects blocking the gleam. But there are sunflowers which find their way to brightness by turning towards the sunbeams. So let's stop a bit and think, why are we so prone to give tags like disabled, handicapped, blind and whatnot? Go ahead and label, but bear in mind that labels are essentially for gifts. Do we even know the significance of these words? Let's not diss the ability, because dissimilarity is beautiful in its own way. A child is not disabled, she is differently abled. Life, it's a wonderful thing, isn't it? Then why are differently abled children sometimes thrown into garbage bins or flushed down toilet? The most crucial right is the right to live. Do we rule some children out of this world just because of their physical impairment? These special children think this whole world is special like them. The visually impaired are unaware of the sense of sight. That's because of the milieu provided to them. They are sent to special schools where they gain knowledge, but they are excluded from society. They are made to live in their own separate world. But now the people have realized that these special children need to be included, not excluded from the mainstream. But when organizations try to get these children admitted to private schools, they are given lame excuses like all seats have been filled or parents of other children complain and so on. But no one admits that the real reason of their impairment. These children are being deprived from their right to education, and more so deprived of their fundamental right, the right to equality. Parity is missing from their lives. Either they are giving sympathy and condolences, or they are underestimated. Only by understanding their love for us, we realize these children are the real gifts of God on earth. In this world full of social evil, only a fraction of the population is humane, and we will recognize them only when we are truly concerned about what kind of society we need to build. The Convention of Child Rights 1989 gives the children all over the world many rights, including the right to express their opinion and thought. But is this true for all? Are all children given these rights? Talking about rights is like telling a story that never ends. But it is time that we really put end to it. Not because some say that it is our duty to help them, but because it is our responsibility to involve them and make them a part of the world. It is important to make them feel that we are like them and they are like us. The need of the hour is to change our mindset. Estrangement comes by saying, keep away, you are the children of the lesser God. It's our obligation to say, hey, would you like to be my friend? Kate Von Steen has rightly said, let's stop tolerating or accepting difference as if we are so much better for not being different in the first place. Instead, let's celebrate difference, because in this world it takes a lot of gut to be different. Kanupriya Gupta, Class 10th, Kamal Convent School, BHL, Bhopal, volunteering with Arushi. For a more caring country. As part of National Action and Coordination Group in India, a series of consultations and programs were organized across the country on the theme Stepping Up Protection of Children with Disabilities. Here are some recommendations which emerged from these meetings. Bihar. Promote acceptance and caring. Provide opportunities for social support. Provide opportunities for equal protection in school, society. Right to access to comprehensive health care of the girls and children with differing abilities. Right to full legal protection against violence, discrimination and abuse of the girl child and children with differing abilities. Scholarship program for children with disability. Kerala. Sensitize the neighborhoods through self-help groups and awareness programs. Sensitize the society through audiovisual media. Counseling for the parents of disabled bridegrooms. Protection of the disabled child adult before and after marriage should be ensured through sensitization programs, through print media, audio-visual programs, and also through awareness classes. Multidisciplinary approach comprising of all available systems such as medical, legal, police, local bodies, etc. is required to deal with the problem. Marriage, the reproductive health right, is a basic need of human beings and it should not be denied to anybody just because his or her disability, but proper medical and legal protection should be given to them so as to avoid any sort of exploitation and abuse. Changes in the present educational system for the disabled is urgently needed to make it more disabled friendly. Definition of child as a person who has not completed the age of 18 cannot be accepted in the case of mentally challenged persons. In many cases, a MR, mentally retarded or mentally challenged adult, may have the mental development as of a child only, and so denying the benefits available to a disabled child to an MR adult would be reckoned as doing injustice to the latter. In MR cases, age shouldn't be a bar to avail facilities to all equally. Educational benefits should be distributed equally to all disabled children irrespective of the income of the parents. Page 9. For a more caring country, continued. Punjab. Key points. Rejection by parents of children with disabilities, stigma and discrimination adds to the woes of disabled children. Mother of children with disability are divorced and mostly unable to support their children. Lack of awareness and sensitivity among all the stakeholders, including doctors, teachers, parents and others. Lack of infrastructures in public places with inaccessible toilets, lifts and ramps. This is applicable not only the institutions, this must also be available in homes. Shortage of professional and caregivers. Training to parents to sensitize them, give them training for early detection, treatment and follow-up. Aids and appliances. These are expensive and need replacement as children are expected to grow and the existing equipments and aids would become replaceable and thus redundant. It is not a one-time expenditure. Follow-up of the children with disabilities at the community level is imperative. Services of ASHAs and other functionaries like the panchayat members in charge of health services should be trained. Vocational training should keep pace with the development in the various sectors. Besides the traditional trades, new professional training in computers, light engineering, office administration, teaching, TV and radio announcers and such training components be added. Tamil Nadu. Disabled children need to be taught coping strategies or skills. Some parents abuse children severely and have a negative attitude towards their disabled children. Therefore, parents must be sensitized and educated about abuse and its legal implications. Parents should have a shared responsibility in looking after children. However, bathing and toilet care for girl children should be done by the mother. There has to be communication charts for children to express their concern and problems for those children who are non-verbal, especially to detect any form of abuse. There needs to be consistent and regular follow-up of staff, those working at the grassroots level, directly working with children. Parents and other caregivers must be sensitized about abuses and also be made aware of reporting mechanism of such abuses and legal implications. Parents must be educated on dangers which children may come across in their life, especially about the vulnerabilities of challenged children. There has to be various support services for parents. There must be specific programs for parents of disabled children on child protection and safety. Parents and teachers encourage children to have self-acceptance, a feeling that they are okay, as this will not lead to deflated self-esteem. Also, children should be allowed to express their view and to be listened to them, as this can also pave a way for many solutions. Children to be respected with dignity, love and care provided. Elders must nurture their self-esteem and promote equal opportunities in schools and institutions. There must be equal opportunity policy for the disabled. Children raise their views saying that they must have some individual to whom they can share anything, and the receiver must merely listen and not be judgmental towards them. Children suggested that they could be taught self-defense techniques as a strategy to safeguard themselves. For a more caring country. As part of National Action and Coordination Group in India, a series of consultations and programs were organized across the country on the theme Stepping Up Protection of Children with Disabilities. Here are some recommendations which emerged from these meetings. Bihar. Promote acceptance and caring. Provide opportunities for social support. Provide opportunities for equal protection in school, society. Right to access to comprehensive health care of the girls and children with differing abilities. Right to full legal protection against violence, discrimination and abuse of the girl child and children with differing abilities. Scholarship program for children with disability. Kerala. Sensitize the neighborhoods through self-help groups and awareness programs. Sensitize the society through audiovisual media. Counseling for the parents of disabled bridegrooms. Protection of the disabled child adult before and after marriage should be ensured through sensitization programs, through print media, audiovisual programs and also through awareness classes. Multidisciplinary approach comprising of all available systems such as medical, legal, police, local bodies, etc. is required to deal with the problem. Marriage, the reproductive health right, is a basic need of human beings and it should not be denied to anybody just because his or her disability, but proper medical and legal protection should be given to them so as to avoid any sort of exploitation and abuse. Changes in the present educational system for the disabled is urgently needed to make it more disabled friendly. Definition of child as a person who has not completed the age of 18 cannot be accepted in the case of mentally challenged persons. In many cases, a MR, mentally retarded or mentally challenged adult, may have the mental development as of a child only, and so denying the benefits available to a disabled child to an MR adult would be reckoned as doing injustice to the latter. In MR cases, age shouldn't be a bar to avail facilities to all equally. Educational benefits should be distributed equally to all disabled children irrespective of the income of the parents. Page 9. For a more caring country, continued. Punjab. Key points. Rejection by parents of children with disabilities, stigma and discrimination adds to the woes of disabled children. Mother of children with disability are divorced and mostly unable to support their children. Lack of awareness and sensitivity among all the stakeholders, including doctors, teachers, parents and others. Lack of infrastructures in public places with inaccessible toilets, lifts and ramps. This is applicable not only the institutions, this must also be available in homes. Shortage of professional and caregivers. Training to parents to sensitize them, give them training for early detection, treatment and follow-up. Aids and appliances. These are expensive and need replacement as children are expected to grow and the existing equipments and aids would become replaceable and thus redundant. It is not a one-time expenditure. Follow-up of the children with disabilities at the community level is imperative. Services of ashas and other functionaries like the panchayat members in charge of health services should be trained. Vocational training should keep pace with the development in the various sectors. Besides the traditional trades, new professional training in computers, light engineering, office administration, teaching, TV and radio announcers and such training components be added. Tamil Nadu. Disabled children need to be taught coping strategies or skills. Some parents abuse children severely and have a negative attitude towards their disabled children. Therefore, parents must be sensitized and educated about abuse and its legal implications. Parents should have a shared responsibility in looking after children. However, bathing and toilet care for girl children should be done by the mother. There has to be communication charts for children to express their concern and problems for those children who are non-verbal, especially to detect any form of abuse. There needs to be consistent and regular follow-up of staff, those working at the grassroots level, directly working with children. Parents and other caregivers must be sensitized about abuses and also be made aware of reporting mechanism of such abuses and legal implications. Parents must be educated on dangers which children may come across in their life, especially about the vulnerabilities of challenged children. There has to be various support services for parents. There must be specific programs for parents of disabled children on child protection and safety. Parents and teachers encourage children to have self-acceptance, a feeling that they are okay, as this will not lead to deflated self-esteem. Also, children should be allowed to express their view and to be listened to them, as this can also pave a way for many solutions. Children to be respected with dignity, love and care provided. Elders must nurture their self-esteem and promote equal opportunities in schools and institutions. There must be equal opportunity policy for the disabled. Children raise their views saying that they must have some individual to whom they can share anything, and the receiver must merely listen and not be judgmental towards them. Children suggested that they could be taught self-defense techniques as a strategy to safeguard themselves. Disabled womb. I forgot to cut his nails, but it was too late. I put him in his harness and ended up on the ground, for he hated it. He wanted freedom. People knew right away something was wrong. Beneath those luscious, thick eyelashes, the wild eyes narrated a story of their own, a story too wild, too painful for a 9-year-old. I finally managed to put him in the harness and dragged him, while applying a band-aid over my fingers, cursing myself for not cutting his nails. I took good care of him, but there was only so much that I could have done. I mechanically entered the stone building, his teeth glued together with chewy toffee. The dentist said it was bad for his teeth, but it was the only remedy. For all the snarling and growling times when he lost control. Please sign here, the matron said. I didn't know my name anymore. I could feel him stiffen beside me, and for the second time I was again on the ground. For the second time those nails pierced me, and blood flowed again. For once his eyes weren't wild, they were scared. His fingers quivered as he whispered, "Ma," over and over again. The matron seized him and ruffled his glossy black hair, and I left searching for a band-aid big enough to heal my bleeding wound. I returned home where the taps wouldn't turn on at 3 a.m., where the knives wouldn't rest on my pillow, where the walls wouldn't be lined with mattresses, where no neighbor would ask again, where no disabled child would laugh again, where no one will know of my mishap, where I wouldn't be a mother anymore with a disabled womb. Sayyida Romana Mehdi, Outgoing Associate Editor, The Peace Gong. Page 10. Films pushed the disability barrier. The new millennium is the age of ICT, Information and Communication Technology, and India has a primary role in pushing its boundaries. From exclusion to empowerment, the theme of the International Conference on the Role of ICTs for Persons with Disabilities, held in New Delhi from November 24 to 26, was organized by UNESCO in collaboration with the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment and the Ministry of Human Resource Development. Eminent speakers addressed the sessions on the topics like accessibility of information and knowledge, social inclusion, assistive technologies, sustainable development, promoting self-reliance and livelihood for persons with disabilities, implementing inclusive education, etc. The deliberation on these topics were later summed up as recommendations with the hope that it would be later transformed into government policies and programs to benefit persons with different disabilities. While all the sessions were quite relevant and enlightening, the We Care Film Festival was quite a hit amongst students and young people. The films shown in this festival are recognized as the ambassadors creating awareness on the rights of persons with disabilities across the globe and a beacon for promoting a positive attitude towards disabilities. Approximately 1,000 people from around the world attended the film festival. Delegates, especially students, participated actively in the festival. The films on various issues surrounding disabilities were screened to create awareness on disability issues. In addition, there was an exhibition of ICT and assistive technologies for persons with disabilities. A techno camp was organized during the conference and disabled persons were trained on how to write scripts and produce video spots. Videos developed by them were screened during the valedictory session. Interviews of those who made these videos showed how ICT can empower the people with disabilities and provide them with an opportunity to voice their opinion in the society. Kaustubh Yadav, Class 10th, the Air Force School, New Delhi. Volunteering for children with disabilities. One day during a casual conversation with my English teacher, I discovered a way in which I could make a contribution to a few precious lives and make my life meaningful. I learned about Arushi and the exceptional efforts it is taking to help and improve the lives of the differently abled. I was delighted and full of enthusiasm to get along, as this was consistent with my studies as a biology and psychology student. As I started spending my afternoons after school in Arushi, recording books for my friends, I realized that it is better to do as much good as one can today, for tomorrow the opportunity may be gone. The hours I spent in the studio became a source of joy as I completed books after books, praying that every person who uses my audio would be blessed. Every single day I learned something new and thought-provoking that has also helped me develop as a person. Eventually, I have pleasant memories of getting together with like-minded friends and the staff of Arushi. I have found that there are always listeners with willing hearts at any given place, whose compassionate hearts led them to respond and contribute in meaningful ways. Without a doubt, no volunteer can go through such an experience and remain untouched. It was one of the most humbling experiences to see the dignity and hope with which these children and their parents coped. I would definitely like to continue contributing and hope to magnify the light Arushi is bringing into the lives of some innocent lives. Tanya Prakash, Delhi Public School, Bhopal. Talking textbook, an innovative scheme for the visually impaired students, has been developed by Arushi, a Bhopal-based voluntary organization to help provide education to these children. But so far, only 3,500 such children across 11 states of India are getting the benefit of these books. Audiobooks have been made using DAISY, Digital Accessible Informative System format, converting the textbooks of the National Council of Education, Research and Technology (NCERT) and the Boards of Secondary Education in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. This format is internationally accepted and enables the visually impaired to get the benefit of the digitalized books exactly like a printed book. These recorded textbooks cover syllabuses of class 1 to 12, graduate and postgraduate levels, and also of various competitive exams. Till date, 1,537 titles have been recorded, which include school books for the Madhya Pradesh Board, the Rajasthan Board and the Madhya Pradesh Open School, etc. Other books for various competitive exams are also prepared, which include the Union Public Service Commission UPSC, State PSC, NET, NET and general knowledge books. A new initiative of recording India Today Hindi and uploading it on the internet for circulation has started over the last 2 years. To develop the Talking Textbooks project, Arushi built an audio library of 30,000 hours of recorded study material for school and college students who are visually or print impaired. Textbooks and instructional and supplementary materials for various disciplines are available on compact discs. Volunteers record study materials in several languages for various subjects. The audiobooks have been distributed in 11 states of West Bengal, Punjab, Jammu and Kashmir, Karnataka, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Assam. Gunjan Deolia, Class 8th, St. Joseph Co-ed School, Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. Page 11. Include disability in teachers' training. On November 20, the Peace Gong Kerala and the Academic Forum of Research and Communication AFRC India jointly conducted a consultation on the rights of children with disability. Both the children and the teachers strongly felt that both needed orientation on issues and concerns of disability. The teachers felt there should be a section on disability in teachers' training curriculum so that they are able to work with children with disability. The program was attended by 70 plus audience invited from different towns and villages of Wayanad. Recommendation to support children with disability. Shamir Michingal, Mathrubhumi News. Media has a very important role to play to support disabled children. The state media as well as the private sector should come forward and inspire reporters and editors to carry special news stories on the violation of children's rights, as well as carry inspirational stories on children with disability who made it to the top by overcoming their limitations. Gauri, 13, the Peace Gong Wayanad Bureau Chief. Schools should be friendly for the disabled children. Special travelling facilities should be arranged for children with disability. Comfortable entrances and steps should be constructed to help such children's movement to classrooms and toilets. Ramya, Project Officer, MS Swaminathan Foundation. Disabled children need more empathetic approach from society. Specially trained teachers and volunteers should be encouraged to visit children who are bedridden. Recently, a whole classroom of children with teachers regularly started visiting a child who was not able to go to school and helped her with studies. Can we make it a mandatory step to school students and teachers to make house visits for disabled children? The Peace Gong Bureau, Wayanad, Kerala. Nostalgia. The Peace Gong, September 2012 issue on disability. Children are the future. The Ready Jojo Global Experience. Children have the right to participation, child-friendly media, and free expression. But worldwide we see that these rights are often violated. When it comes to children with disabilities, it is even worse. Ready Jojo World Children's Radio Network is now trying to involve children with disabilities. In Morocco, a workshop was recently conducted with marginalized kids who have multiple disabilities. Nobody expects these children to contribute to a global exchange on ambitious issues like peace, education, and sustainability. But in the workshop, they successfully cooperated with organizations like UNICEF and the Global Education Campaign. They met with peers of Ready Jojo headquarters in Berlin. Besides, they contributed to the Global Children and Youth Network for Peace and Environment, Roots and Shoots, by collecting garbage and turning it into art and planting trees and giving names to them. Here is the blog with the results and many more exciting contributions. futur.edublogs.org. Ready Jojo also worked with children with visual impairment in Berlin, some of them with multiple disabilities and mental problems. The initiative showed that the kids love radio since they are very good in working with sound and voice. For instance, Yannick, a boy with the Asperger syndrome in Berlin, has cooperated with a girl from the Native American Cree people far away in Canada, exchanging about the value of nature for humankind via internet. All children, with or without disabilities, can share ideas, thoughts, talents, hopes, plans with the Global Media Network for Children by Children. Just join us on Facebook, Ready Jojo, World Children's Radio Network, or send your media contribution to us. redaktion@readyjojo.de. Zineb, Sokaina, Ahmed, and the Ready Jojo Kids crew from Ahli Children's Home, Torodent, Morocco. Page 12. Credit line. Editor Ramshina, Class 12, Farooq College, Higher Secondary School, Calicut, Kerala. Associate Editor Christina Khundrak Pam, Class 11, Kendriya Vidyalaya No. 1, Lamphel Pat, Manipur. Guest Editor Kanupriya Gupta, Class 10, Kamal Convent School, BHL, Bhopal. Assam. Riya Sharma, Class 3rd, SFS School, Narangi, Guwahati. Sangeeta Biswas, Class 12, SFS School, Narangi, Guwahati. From Bihar, Akash, 16 years, बिहार बाल भवन सोसाइटी, चंद्रावती कुमारी क्लास 8th अंतर्ज्योति, सुषमा कुमारी क्लास 10th अंतर्ज्योति। फ्रॉम गुजरात, स्वस्तिक लोहो चौधरी क्लास 12th अहमदाबाद। फ्रॉम जम्मू एंड कश्मीर, मोहम्मद जासिम मीर क्लास 9 मिंटो सर्कल स्कूल श्रीनगर। फ्रॉम केरला, गौरी कृष्णा क्लास 8th, अमृथा क्लास 10th, नीतू कृष्णा क्लास 8th, गौरी नंदा कुमार क्लास 10th, हरि कृष्णन क्लास 9th, हिमा क्लास 7th, एंजिया क्लास 10th, नेहल क्लास 10th, चंदना क्लास 8th, ऑलविन क्लास 9th, लक्ष्मदीप, बीबी अजूरा क्लास 12th, फारूक कॉलेज हायर सेकेंडरी स्कूल। फ्रॉम मध्य प्रदेश, गुंजन देवलिया क्लास 8th, सेंट जोसेफ कोएट स्कूल भोपाल। फ्रॉम मणिपुर, के कार्स्टिन क्लास 12th, एलाइट एकेडमी इम्फाल। एस रोशन सिंह क्लास 10th, आकाश हायर सेकेंडरी स्कूल इम्फाल। ई चिंगखेंग हुंगा क्लास 9 HRD एकेडमी इम्फाल। ई सोफिया देवी क्लास 9 खा इम्फाल हाई स्कूल। ख मेमेश्वरी देवी क्लास 10 ग्लोरी इंग्लिश स्कूल इम्फाल। AC कोरेन्ना क्लास 10 हेरिटेज स्कूल इम्फाल। फ्रॉम त्रिपुरा, मृगन मौली चक्रवर्ती क्लास 9 रामकृष्ण मिशन विद्यालय अगरतला। फ्रॉम उत्तर प्रदेश, सदफ सौद क्लास 10 अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी गर्ल्स हाई स्कूल अलीगढ़। जमन गौरी क्लास 11 AMU अलीगढ़। जरीन क्लास 11th AMU अलीगढ़। अरीशा क्लास 11th AMU अलीगढ़। सोमा आफरीन क्लास 11th AMU अलीगढ़। जैनब फातिमा बिलग्रामी क्लास 10th AMU गर्ल्स हाई स्कूल। सिमराह खान क्लास 10 OLF अलीगढ़ दिल्ली। कौस्तुभ यादव क्लास 10th द एयरफोर्स स्कूल न्यू दिल्ली। प्रतिमा, नाजमी, योगेश, कोमल ऑल ऑफ क्लास 12 सर्वोदय कन्या विद्यालय तुगलकाबाद विलेज न्यू दिल्ली। कोऑर्डिनेटर्स मिस सईदा रुमानी मेहदी USA, मिस अंकिता पौडेल नेपाल, मिस ऐमन खान अलीगढ़, मिस आसिया नकवी अलीगढ़। S सबा अलीगढ़, मिस हाजरा बानो। अफीफा लून, मिस कनीज जहरा, मिस मुनाजा शाह, मिस्टर असलम मीर, मिस्टर बेनी मैथ्यू जवाहर नवोदय विद्यालय। मिस्टर जेम्स जवाहर नवोदय। मिस्टर एडविन शांति भवन। मिस्टर कुन्ही मोहम्मद फारूक कॉलेज। डिजाइन कोऑर्डिनेटर कोकिला भट्टाचार्य। एडवाइजर्स मिस रजिया इस्माइल, प्रोफेसर TK थॉमस, प्रोफेसर KV नागराज, डॉक्टर बिप्लब लोहो चौधरी, डॉक्टर AS गुहा, मिस C इंदिरा दासगुप्ता, मिस्टर वेदभ्यास कुंदू, मिस शर्मिला सिन्हा, मिस्टर अभिजीत सिन्हा, मिस अमिता दहिया, मिस अर्चना ज्योति, मिस्टर जावेद नकी, मिस्टर अनिल मुदगल, मिस्टर AR पाटिल, मिस्टर प्रवीण पंजेयर, मिस्टर सिद्धार्थ भट्टाचार्य, Mr. Rajdeep Pathak, Miss Leila Sain, Mr. Anil Imeg, Miss Shashwati Jhalani, Mr. Rihan Ali, Mr. K. Venkateshan, Mr. Mumtaz Ahmed Numani, Miss Satyantani Roy, Mr. Shamir Machingal. Published by Professor T.K. Thomas, Chairman, Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore Foundation and Birds, Karnataka. For any suggestions and inputs, please write to the editor, thepeacegong@gmail.com. Please visit our website http://thepeacegong.org, and we are on Facebook www.facebook.com/pages/the-peacegong-gong/1878-295-2130-7498. Designed by Ms. Jaya Lakshmi. Printed at Bosco Society for Printing and Graphic Training, Okhla Road, New Delhi. Phone number 011-26910-729. Email boscopress@gmail.com.